Happy birthday, Aquarius. Hope you are enjoying yourselves and finding something exciting to do. Welcome back to Will's Cartomancy Tarot. You know, Aquarius, sometimes we get so bogged down with romantic, work, and financial issues that we sometimes lose sight on what's really important in our lives. For this reason, then, I would like to present a special guidance session to help you, to help facilitate your growth, if you will, and to give you a better understanding of the underlying or motivating factors involved in what you are currently experiencing. To save some time, I have already selected and displayed your cards using the African American Tarot deck as shown and displayed here. These cards are so beautiful and wonderful to use. So Aquarius, sit back, relax, grab a snack, and let's begin. Let's start, Aquarius, with looking at your first card. Your first card is the Death card. I'm going to take this down so that you can see it a little bit more clearly. Now don't panic, because this card doesn't necessarily mean a physical death, although it can sometimes. It's about transition, transformation, rebirth, and permanent change. The revitalizing force kind of sweeps away the old to kind of make a way for the new. And the change that you see that is kind of symbolized by this card is permanent. You go through one door and it slams shut behind you forever usually. And this card is usually associated with Scorpio. So let's look at this card from the standpoint of where I kind of see you now. It seems like that the concern is on of endings, new beginnings in career, partnership, or even status quo. You know, I'm seeing new opportunities and or possibly a new lifestyle. You feel that you can no longer go along with the status quo, and you kind of want things to, it looks like you want them to change very radically. And just moving on to your second card, just looking at your motivation here, that card is a Star card. And when you see this card, or usually when this card appears, you kind of have to really think balance, Aquarius, because this card is associated with your sign. You know, usually in the wake of the terrorist violent eruption, you're inspired to kind of reach your highest potential. So with this card brings about a concern or a need to kind of focus more so on faith, your future, and what could be, which is what I'm kind of seeing you're doing. Let's move on to your third card just to look at what I kind of perceive as being your underlying problem here. And that is the World card. I'm just going to pull it down so that you can see it a little bit better. And with this card, the Fool's journey ends. You know, he kind of have arrived at his destination. The goal has been reached, and restrictions must be kind of eradicated. We see this card as being a completion, or something that you've you basically completed things. I see that you will want to kind of liberate yourself from limitation and lack, other people's problems, negative attitudes, or either possibly force confrontations. But I'm feeling that you're going to be disappointed in your inability to kind of break free of the restrictive influences that appear to be blocking you from manifesting any of your goals. Let's move on to your fourth card, and that card will let us know what you need to know that you haven't, you know, at present been aware of, but it's something that is significant and you need to know. We have the Chariot card. When you see this card, this is the go for it card. It represents ambition, determination, and a lot of youthful energy. Unlike the Fool card, the individual who drives the chariot knows the reason for his or her journey. like Indiana Jones, the charioteer succeeds through a combination of self-discipline, bravado, and sheer willpower. So this card is suggesting to me that you're going to soon have a new perspective and you're going to gain great peace or satisfaction. And this card is also signaling to tell you that all paths lead to the same place, and we are all doing really what we are really supposed to be doing. Even if you're kind of wondering if what you've chosen or the mistakes that you've been doing, they're kind of driving you astray. But the real issue is what you would have to ask yourself is that, are you going to be overcome, or are you going to allow this to overcome you? Let's move on to your fifth card. And the fifth card is the Wheel of Fortune here. And this card tells us what action that you need to do to come in terms or to terms with your problem. When you see this card in a reading, it's usually about sudden, unexpected changes. And this card is usually connected with the planet Uranus. And as an action, this card is kind of suggesting to you not to really get stuck on plans, letting things go their way, the way they will. They're going to bring fortune and good fortune to you. Let's move on to your sixth card, which is Justice here. And this card tells us the best way to proceed in order to kind of carry out the advice that I've been presenting thus far. And as someone, you would know that this card is a counterpart. Its counterpart is Libra, the scales. This card usually represents choice, and it indicates that justice is a two-way street. This card is very impartial, is objective, detached, and it is non-judgmental. And as an action, it's kind of telling you to kind of wait for time to take its course. Let's move on to your seventh card, just to look at a bit more spiritual guidance that can concerning your future. We have the Hermit here. Just pull it off so you can get a better look at it. And when this card is, just to give you a little bit more background on it, it's usually connected to Saturn or Cronus, and it relates to the astrological Saturn return that we usually see occurs approximately once every 28 years. And like Saturn, this card is a task maker and a tester. It kind of forces us to get serious about our lives. And this card is suggesting to me that you're going to attain that which, what you are seeking. And it's also suggesting or telling me that you've kind of reached a point in your evolution where you should know that you don't have to have all of the answers or know the future in advance in order to kind of ward off failure. It looks like reservations and distrustful thoughts are barriers that have been standing between you and the source. And you have to break them down. They must be worn down and eliminated if further progress is going to be made. So I'm just going to go on to your eighth card just to look at your ultimate attainment. It's the High Priestess. And with this card, thank Virgin Goddess, daughter of the moon, archetype of feminine consciousness. This card is all about intuition and inspiration. And it is also associated with the sign of Cancer. This priestess tends to know things, but she doesn't tell Aquarius. And she prompts us to kind of look deep inside ourselves and kind of seek our own answers. So this card is suggesting to me that help is going to come if you need it, and things are going to turn out quite differently than you anticipate. You can certainly expect a pleasant surprise or two, I see, Aquarius, from now until the end of this month. Well, Aquarius, I hope that you've enjoyed this reading. This is all I have for you tonight. Um, should you wish to contact me personally for or a more detailed reading, you may send your request to WAT61073 at gmail.com. If you'd like to make a donation, you may also send it along to WAT61073 at gmail.com. I do appreciate your time.